Good morning. To Carolina and your colleague Naomi, I want to thank you. You are a shining example to represent the over 300,000 students that we're all here to serve. So I wanted to acknowledge you. Thank you. Good morning, members of the board, CEO Martinez, CPS senior leaders, and all who are gathered here today. I am Kia Banks, the Chief of Staff for the Chicago Principals and Administrators Association. I am also a former principal, a former teacher, but most importantly, I am a proud CPS parent. But before any of those titles, I was just a little girl walking into a CPS classroom for the first time many years ago, with my mother's voice in my ear reminding me to embrace this next chapter and always remember who I am. And I share this memory with you today because this work is personal. The work we do, whether in classrooms, boardrooms, or communities, shapes lives. It determines the future of this city. And as we welcome Chicago's first ever hybrid school board, we must ground ourselves in the one truth that must guide every decision we make. Our students must come first. This is a historic moment. It is an opportunity to forge a new path, one where collaboration replaces conflict, where transparency replaces mistrust, and where we all work together to build a world-class public school system that all of our children deserve. The system, but we have to be honest. We are not starting from a perfect place. The system as it stands is broken. It is the very reason why Chicago's leaders or school leaders were compelled to unionize. We fought for and secured mandatory neutral arbitration, not just for ourselves, but because the working conditions of our school leaders are the learning conditions for our students. When school leaders are not supported, our students suffer. When policies are made without those closest to the work, our schools struggle. And when great school leaders are forced out without due process, we all lose. We cannot afford to lose anymore. As principals, we remember. We remember the way students instinctively know what's fair and what's not, the way they call it out without hesitation. That sense of fairness, that belief in what's right, it's something we all once had. And that shared memory is what should guide us as we lead. We must acknowledge the burden that school leaders carry, the weight of holding a crying child in our office, or comforting a teacher after a difficult day, of going home drained only to wake up to do it all over again. We, like my colleague at Hamline, we remember standing beside families, students, and teachers who are just doing the work of striving for and creating a better future. We make sure that they all feel supported. We remember the students who come to school hungry, unbathed, or carrying burdens far beyond their years. We remember making heartbreaking calls about the unsafe environments that they may encounter. We remember stretching our budgets that are never enough, working undefined hours in ever-expanding roles with no clear boundaries. And yet, too often, the demands keep growing, but the protections we need, due process, safeguards against retaliation, resources, and the ability to hire the right people remain out of reach. But still, we show up because we remember who we are and who we do this work for. And while we remember, we must also demand change. This board has the opportunity to set a new precedent, to lead differently, to govern in a way that values input over politics, fairness over personal agendas, and student success above everything else. And that work starts today with how we engage with one another, how we listen to those closest to the challenges, and how we ensure that every policy, every budget decision, and every leadership change is made with students at the center. CPAA is here, not as an adversary, but as a partner.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
We know that real progress won't come from division, but from honest dialogue, shared purpose, and the courage to do what's right. Our students are watching us. They are learning from us, and the lessons we leave behind will shape the future of this city. But let's make sure those lessons are ones that we can be proud of, because like us, they too will remember. We have materials that we want to share with the board members. We look forward to working with you as you assume this great challenge. We are looking to meet with you and share some of our concerns, but we're also here to provide solutions, collaboration, and partnership with the board, with management, with our other labor partners, with our parents, and most importantly, with our students. Thank you, and have a wonderful day and welcome.